Welcome to episode 1 of Sitting in Random Places with Jeremiah. On a serious note, let's talk about doing really difficult things that part of you knows that you want to do, but the entire 99% of the rest of you is screaming and yelling for you not to do. So for instance, I learned how to ride a motorcycle recently, or I'm learning to ride a motorcycle. And that took a ton of jumping into an area where I felt terrified and awful and like I don't fit. Because essentially, whenever you learn something new or do something new, you're gonna go through this process of fear, of second guessing, of maybe talking yourself out of it. But if we can learn to actually trust ourselves and our instincts and our thought process, we know that the thing that we want to do is good for us, but we can't get ourselves to actually take the last step and start doing it. Lord of the Rings, both movies and books that I'm sure most people are familiar with. The author, J.R.R. Tolkien, when he was writing The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, he struggled so much with the actual writing of it, with the creation of the characters, with the continuation, with the publication, with every step of it. He struggled, and he sought help from people that he trusted. He got their opinion, and people who he knew had his best interest in their heart. And they helped him get through what was one of the most difficult things in his whole life, but arguably was one of the most amazing things of his whole life. This incredible creation that all of us are familiar with to one degree or another, and some of us absolutely love. George Lucas, making Star Wars. So most people are familiar with Star Wars. If you aren't, where in the world have you been living? Anyway, when he was writing and getting ready for Star Wars, when he was creating the plot, when he was creating the characters, when he was creating the names, he also struggled so much. There would be days where he would sit down to write, and he would sit from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and not write a single thing. And there were times he would write and he would hate everything that he wrote, and it would be the hardest thing for him. And yet, in the end, he created something that we call genius and a masterwork and amazing. But in the very beginning, when he was doing it, there was no praise, there was no assurance that it'd be wonderful. And that's the same feeling that we all have when we want to do something difficult or something scary or something dangerous even, and we don't know what's on the other side. And we can't let not knowing what's on the other side stop us from doing the thing or learning the thing or meeting the person in the first place. I know we all have these things in our lives. We all can think of at least one thing right now in our lives that we're struggling to make ourselves do. Whether it's to sit down and write that email to the person that you need to say you're sorry to, whether it's to pick up the phone and call the person who you really care about but you don't want to tell them that, whether it's to start that side project after you get off of work in the evenings even though you're exhausted, that nobody believes in, that has no monetary reward if you really want to do it. You can't let not knowing what's on the other side stop you from going ahead and doing that thing. Sitting with Jeremiah in Strange Places, episode 1 of 365. That is me doing something, this filming and editing and posting, that is absolutely sickening to me, and I hate it. But I know that there's something on the other side that I don't know what it is yet, but there's something on the other side that I want. So I'm gonna go for it.